thank you. But back to what vocab was trying to bring out, man.
Colossians 1:16.
No, Colossians 2, where it says we don't judge a man by a Sabbath.
Okay, gotcha.
And he cut me off in the middle, mocking it, and I said, please let me finish the scripture. And then the dude came over and ran and said, we're not going to do that. That's when they got upset. But they were already heading there, you know.
Yeah, I would.
And then the dude came over and ran and said, we're not going to do that. That's when they got upset. But they were already heading there, you know.
But yeah, man. So yeah, this is Colossians 2:16. It says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of in the holy day or of the new moon or of the Shabbat, Sabbath day. All right, Sabbath days. All right. So, yeah, man. It says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of a holy day or of the new moon or the Sabbath days, man. Okay? And these Christians, they like to use this precept, you know, trying to defend themselves from us Hebrew Israelites telling them to stop, by us telling them to stop celebrating the Shabbat on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday. All right? Because it says right there, according to the new moon. And it literally says, let no man judge you. All right, us. This Bible is talking to us hopeful elect, us men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Not just any old fucking body like vocab, man. And excuse my language, but man, these Christians are so pea-brained, sized, minded people, man. They're so small-minded, man. So stupid. I'm sorry for using vulgar language. I try not to, but hey, maybe these Christians are dumb, man. All right? Because this book is literally not talking to not just anybody. It's talking to Yasharallah, the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people, and the chosen of Israel. Not just all of Israel, the chosen of Israel, which are his righteous men and women, all right, that love the Lord, all right, that are going to observe his high holy days and observe the Lord's commandments and keep his ways perfectly, man, okay, and worship his son Yahushai and understand the mystery of the Gentiles, which you Christians don't understand, okay. It says 17, it says which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Hamashiach Yahushai, okay. Yeah, you know, these Old Testament commandments, all right, the Old Testament commandments, all right, okay, and really just all the commandments in general, okay, they all reside in Yahushai, all right, okay, because when Yahushai, when he came the first time, all right, all those Old Testament commandments, what they do, all right, you know, they were turned into faith, and they were symbolic for Yahushai, all right, and the New Testament commandments, okay, they're symbolic for what? Yahushai, all right, in the eventual new covenant, man, all right, that's to come, all right, you know, keeping the Lord's commandments, all right, is literally the characteristics of Yahushai. You know, walking as Yahushai is. You know, when you walk like somebody, you're walking after, you're doing their mannerisms. How that person would eat, how that person would pray, how that person would talk, how that person would act. You know, how that person would react. You know, that's the commandments. You know, and one of the commandments, one of the ways that Yahushua walked is keeping the Sabbath days, the holy days, according to the new moon. All right, vocab. Why would you even bring this scripture up, you idiot? This literally cuts you Christians. All right, because it says the new moon, not Sunday, not Saturday, not Friday, according to the new moon. Let's get that, man. Isaiah 66 and 23. It says, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, all right, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord Yahweh. All right. Bang. That's how, according to the new moon, to another new moon. And from, it says, let's read it, that from one new moon to another, from one Sabbath to another, all right, is when you celebrate the holy days, all right, the Sabbaths, okay, and the holy days, okay, it's like it, not according to the days out of the week, because the days out of this week that we that are based off, are based off the Gregorian calendar, man, the so-called white man Esau Edom's calendar, which is according to the sun, the sun equinox, all right, which is off, okay. So let's do this, man. All right. New moon. All right. I literally just typed in new moon. A new moon is the lunar phase when the moon is positioned between the sun and the earth, making the side of the moon facing earth. All right. It says which lasts about 29.5 days. Okay. About 25.9 days. All right. Let's do new moon calendar. Calendar. I might be getting sick. All right, this is the new moon calendar for 2025. All right, what are we in? Words. All right. What is it? Saturday. Yeah. Saturday night. So the last new moon was Friday night. Okay. It's like it. On the 22nd. I think this one was wrong. But as you can see, man, the new moon. Hold on. Do they the new moon, all right. The moon phases, all right, right here. Look at the whole, the half, and the half again, okay. Okay, and then the full one, okay. Look at those, all right. They all reside on. Every month it's different, all right. January, okay. Where is it at? This one's wrong, man. Yeah, this one's wrong. But the new moon, all right, and the in the halves of the moon, and then the full moons, all right, which is every 7 days. It's either a half of a moon, or a full moon, or a new moon, okay. And every month it's a different day, okay. All right, it's not, it's a different day, man. Okay, I don't know why I keep going back to this one. This one's wrong. So yeah, man. a new moon, depending on depends. All right, it could be on a Monday. All right, the Sabbath could be a Friday. It could be a Tuesday, a Saturday. It could be any day out the week, man. Okay, that's why you have to keep up with the new moon. No, keep up with the moon, man. All right, which is what the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai gave us. All right, for signs and times. All right, and for feast days and holy days, man. Okay, He didn't give us the Gregorian calendar, man. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, man. All right, the Sabbath is not every Friday, every Saturday, or every Sunday. It could be on a Tuesday. It could be on a Wednesday or Thursday. It could also be a Friday. It could be a Sunday. It could be a Saturday, man. It depends on the new moon, not what we say, not what the white man says, not what the Friday, Monday to Sunday calendar, the Gregorian calendar, man. All right. And I was trying to get that through this Jake's head, man. This Jake, every time I run into him around town, he always wants to, debate with me. I'm like, bro, you just don't get what I'm telling you, man. So let's stop talking, man. Go about your day, And he could not understand, that the first day out the week, all right, the first day, all right, because he was trying to go back to, celebrating the holy days, the Sabbaths, He's like, the first day. I'm like, he's like, so when is the first day? When was the first day? I'm like, dude, it's according to the new moon, man. It could be any day out the week, all right? The Sabbath, it could be any day out the week, man, He just couldn't get it, man, because his mind was wrapped around the Gregorian regular calendar that this world revolves around, man. All right, talking about the people, not the actual world, because the actual world itself that we're standing on revolves around the new moon, man. Okay, it doesn't revolve around the moon, but like, the animals and the creatures, they're they're doing what the Lord commands them to, man. All right, the nocturnal animals come out, the non-nocturnal animals come out, the deep sea creatures come up, all right, out of the depths and dwell in the shallow water, all right, towards the surface of the water at night when the moon is out, and then they go back down when the sun comes up. The animals are in order, man, all right, but us people of this world are out of course, all right, because they're following the devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, who has changed the times and laws. Let's get that. I think it says dividing of times. Daniel 7:25, it says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. Talking about the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, all right, which the scriptures say, the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, all right, okay, and another precept says, the whole, the courses of the earth are out of course, all right, let me get that, I just want to get it, out of course, I think I spelled that right. Psalms 82:5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. All right, so celebrating the holy days. Okay, the calendar. The year, the time is everything's out of course, man. The animals, everything's out of course. I'm not the animals, but like food. All right, just pollution of the water. Okay, the weather's out of course because of this devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man has been given authority over the world. He's ran this world into the mud, into the dirt. All right, changed everything, man. All right, made everything upside down. Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and dividing. And this is any until a time and times and the dividing of times. So yeah, man, it says, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, which he's doing. All right, and think to change times and laws. All right, and they shall be given to into his hand. All right. So yeah, the Lord has given into the hands of the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, the so-called the devil, all right, to change the times. All right. He literally changed the times and laws. All right. Everybody celebrate. Everybody goes off of the Gregorian calendar, which is not an Israelite custom. All right. The Gregorian calendar didn't exist back in the times of Noah and the times of Adam and Eve. All right. You know, it's only, I believe, like 1,000 years old. Maybe 2,000, roughly. I don't know, man. But yeah, okay. All right. Everybody back in the day, back in, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, people were living based off the moon, So, hey, man, that cuts you, man. Vocab. The scripture that you were getting, it cuts you, all right? And what are you doing judging us, all right? Because you're really the one judging us, all right? You're the one that fits this scripture, man, all right? You're the one judging us for what we do, for how we celebrate how we worship the Lord, all right? And what we eat and drink. We don't like to eat pork, vocab, okay? We don't like to eat jellyfish. All right, so stop judging us, all right? But we could judge you, okay? We could judge you, vocab. 1 Corinthians 2:15, it says, but he that is spiritual, vocab, you're not spiritual. And in that video, it proves that you're not spiritual, man, all right? Because you don't want to accept the scriptures. The scriptures say to not strive with the foolish man, all right? To strive with the wicked, all right? The ungodly. Okay, the scriptures say to not debate, okay, and, to go back and forth, all right. After 2 or 3 admonitions and they rejected you. They're saying, leave us alone. That means rejection. So leave them alone, man. That they're defending the gospel, all right. And you don't understand it because you're not spiritual, all right. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. You hear that, vocab? You can't judge us. You can try to judge us all you want, man. All right, we're correct. We're right. We're fully persuaded in our mind that what we preach and talk about out there on the highways and byways is true. All right. You can say all you want. All right. Okay. You can try to make us go off and be carnal all you want. All right. The scriptures say none shall be plucked out of his hands. Talking about his elect. Okay. So you can't do nothing for this truth, but you can't do